Last season, the Rockets were a defensive powerhouse, shutting down nearly every opponent. Their flaw? Scoring when the pace slowed. This offseason, Houston fixed that in the boldest way possible by adding one of the most unstoppable offensive forces in NBA history, Kevin Durant.
Durant. Count it, and the foul. Horford got a piece of...
The Rockets have officially leveled up, and the rest of the NBA should be worried. Last season, they were a defensive nightmare for opponents, locking teams down with relentless energy and elite athleticism. Their biggest weakness? Half-court scoring when games slowed down. So Houston went out and fixed that by landing one of the most gifted offensive players in NBA history, Kevin Durant. Durant joins a roster packed with young, fearless defenders who play with pace and confidence. The Rockets were supposed to be a rebuilding project. Now, they're a legitimate threat, the version of Houston the league never wanted to face. After years of building through the draft, no one expected the Rockets to be contenders in a loaded Western Conference. But that changed when they hired Ime Udoka before the 2023-24 season. His arrival flipped the team's culture overnight. Then came the additions of Fred VanVleet and Dillon Brooks, veterans who brought leadership and toughness to a talented young group. The results were dramatic. Houston went from 22-60 in 2022 to 23-41 to 41 the next year, and then exploded to 52-30, finishing second in the West last season. Their defense ranked 5th in the NBA with a 110.3 rating. But the playoffs exposed their biggest flaw, consistent offense. The Rockets were bounced in 7 games by the 7th-seeded Warriors, proving that elite defense alone wouldn't cut it. That's where Durant changes everything. By signing a 2-year, $90 million extension, he's committed to helping Houston chase a title, not just elevate their ceiling. His ability to create under pressure, hit impossible shots, and command defensive attention is exactly what this young team lacked. Now, the focus shifts to chemistry. How quickly can Houston's rising stars adapt to playing alongside one of basketball's all-time greats? It starts with Alperen Şengün. The former Turkish League MVP went from an overlooked rookie to a first-time All-Star last season, averaging 19.1 points and 10.3 rebounds while anchoring the Rockets' offense. Defensively, Şengün thrived in Udoka's system despite not being an elite rim protector. With him on the floor, Houston's defensive rating improved by 6.6 points per 100 possessions, proof of his impact and growth. Now the question is simple. Can Şengün make the leap from breakout star to true superstar? Because if he can, and if Durant stays healthy, the Rockets won't just be good. They'll be terrifying.
Now let the Rockets just play solid defense.
And then he recovers on Miller and blocks it out of bounds.
Over the summer, Alperen Şengün didn't slow down for a second. The Turkish big man spent his off-season refining every part of his game, especially his perimeter skills. The results were on full display at Eurobasket 2025, where he led Turkey on a historic run to the finals. His improved shooting touch, playmaking confidence, and command of the offense turned heads worldwide. And now, with Kevin Durant attracting constant defensive attention in Houston, Şengün is primed to feast on cleaner looks and open space. With Fred VanVleet sidelined for the season, Şengün's responsibilities as the Rockets' primary facilitator are skyrocketing. We saw glimpses of it during Eurobasket and preseason. Houston ran more offense through him in the high post, and he looked unstoppable. The way he read defenses, threaded no-look passes, and orchestrated sets drew legitimate Nikola Jokic comparisons. Şengün still has room to grow, but all signs point to him entering full superstar territory, and right on time for the Rockets' championship push. Then there's Amen Thompson, and any talk of a sophomore slump should be erased immediately. The 6 feet 7 inches phenom averaged 14 points and 8 rebounds last season, while evolving into one of the league's most versatile defenders. Watching Amen play feels like watching basketball in fast forward. His first step, hang time, and recovery speed make him look like he's operating on another level entirely. The results prove it. First team all-defense, nearly a 5-point scoring jump from his rookie year, and a major increase in playmaking duties. Udoka now trusts him to initiate offense more than ever. Defensively, Amen is a Swiss Army knife. He can lock down guards, switch onto bigs, and even protect the rim. Last season, he was the only player in the NBA to average at least 1.3 steals and 1.3 blocks per game. A rare combination of instincts and athleticism. From chase-down blocks to coast-to-coast highlights, the Ime Thompson show has become must-watch basketball. He's not just Houston's future. He's one of the NBA's rising superstars. And then there's Jabari Smith Jr., the steady backbone of this young core. At just 22, he's playing with the poise of a seasoned vet. Even after a hand injury limited him last season, he still posted 12.2 points, 7 rebounds, and 1.1 assists, earning a 5-year, $122 million extension. This preseason, his role became crystal clear. Şengün orchestrates from the high post, Ime collapses defenses, and Durant commands double teams. Jabari? He finishes. Whether it's attacking mismatches, cutting to the rim, or burying open threes, he's finally thriving as the versatile weapon Houston envisioned when they drafted him 3rd overall in 2022. This isn't a rebuild anymore. It's a roster built to win now.
Jabari for 3 and the win! Yeah! He got it!
Tari Eason drew plenty of attention last season as one half of Houston's fearsome Terror Twins duo alongside Ime Thompson, a defensive nightmare that became the heartbeat of the Rockets' rise. 3 seasons in, Eason has become one of head coach Ime Udoka's favorite players, a relentless, high-energy defender who embodies everything Houston's culture stands for. Last season, he averaged 12 points, 6.4 rebounds, 1.7 steals, and nearly a block per game in under 25 minutes. His ability to lock up elite scorers was a huge reason the Rockets finished with one of the best defensive ratings in the entire league. As Houston transitions from promising upstart to legitimate title contender, keeping Eason as their defensive spark plug off the bench might be one of the smartest moves they've made. And then there's Reed Sheppard, the number 3 overall pick in the 2024 NBA draft. His rookie season didn't feature a ton of playing time, but the context matters. The Rockets were winning games, fighting for playoff positioning, and Udoka leaned heavily on his veterans. Still, Sheppard's potential is undeniable. At Kentucky, he was one of college basketball's most efficient and complete guards, shooting a jaw-dropping 52% from 3 while averaging 12.5 points, 4.1 rebounds, 4.5 assists, and 2.5 steals. If he can bring even a portion of that efficiency and two-way playmaking to the NBA level, Houston may have another offensive weapon ready to emerge right when they need it most. Most of Houston's young core remains intact, but this offseason, they added the ultimate game changer, Kevin Durant. When their playoff run ended against the Warriors, it exposed one clear weakness: half-court offense. The Rockets could defend anyone, but when the pace slowed, they struggled to find consistent scoring. They lacked a go-to option, someone who could get a bucket when the system broke down. So, General Manager Rafael Stone went out and solved that problem, not just with any scorer, but with one of the greatest offensive players in NBA history. Durant's arrival in Houston was seismic. The Rockets landed him at the cost of just 2 starters, a no-brainer move that completely redefines their championship timeline. KD's resume speaks for itself. 4-time scoring champion, 15-time All-Star, 2-time NBA champion, 2-time Finals MVP, 1-time League MVP, and now the 8th all-time leading scorer in league history. Even at 37, he's still an elite bucket getter. Last season, Durant averaged 26.6 points, 6 rebounds, 4.2 assists, 1.2 blocks, and nearly a steal per game, while shooting 52% from the field and 43% from 3. Those are vintage Durant numbers, proof he hasn't slowed down. For Houston, his impact hits exactly where they've struggled most: isolation scoring. Last season, the Rockets ranked in the bottom third of the NBA in isolation points per possession and half-court efficiency. Now they've added arguably the best one-on-one scorer ever. Beyond that, Durant's presence dramatically improves their spacing, an area that killed them last year when they ranked 20th in three-point attempts, 22nd in makes, and 21st in percentage. KD not only stretches the floor with his own shot, but his gravity alone will open up driving lanes for Alperen Şengün, cleaner catch-and-shoot looks for Jabari Smith Jr., and easier cutting opportunities for Ime Thompson. This move doesn't just elevate Houston's offense, it changes their identity. For the first time since the Harden era, the Rockets have a true closer. But unlike that team, they now have defense, depth, and structure. Time will tell if Durant can push them to a championship level, but one thing's for certain. You can't win if you can't score, and Kevin Durant guarantees buckets. The best part? KD doesn't have to carry this team. He's surrounded by a loaded young core already built to compete. Ime Thompson just earned first-team All-Defense and looks like a future All-Star. Şengün is fresh off his first All-Star season and a dominant Eurobasket run. Jabari Smith Jr., Tari Eason, and Reed Sheppard are all developing rapidly, while veteran Steven Adams and Dorian Finney-Smith bring playoff-tested experience. For Durant, it means breathing room, a deep roster, a versatile supporting cast, and a coach in Udoka who knows how to manage egos and maximize effort. And while Durant's scoring and leadership will grab headlines, his greatest influence might come off the court. Just watching him prepare, study film, and compete in practice will teach Houston's young stars what it takes to win at the highest level. As one of the most respected voices in basketball, his mentorship could accelerate their growth faster than any system or scheme. Everything seemed perfect. The dream offseason, the superstar acquisition, the rising young core, until disaster struck. Fred VanVleet tore his ACL, an injury that will sideline him for most, if not all, of the 2025-26 season. The loss creates a massive hole in the backcourt. Without their veteran floor general, Houston now faces a daunting challenge, competing for a title with one of the youngest guard rotations in the league. That leaves the Rockets with Ime Thompson and Reed Sheppard as their primary guards. The problem? Houston has no financial flexibility to sign a veteran replacement. Sitting right at the first tax apron, they can't even use minimum contracts. Their only path forward is internal development. But oddly enough, that might be the best thing for them long-term. Yes, losing VanVleet hurts. His leadership, poise, and experience were invaluable to such a young roster. But Udoka isn't panicking. Last season, Houston went 11-8 in games VanVleet missed, proof that their system works even without him. Now, that same system will likely put Ime Thompson in the driver's seat as the full-time point guard. His speed, size, and defensive instincts make him an elite two-way weapon, though running a half-court offense remains a work in progress. That's where Reed Sheppard enters the picture. After a quiet rookie year, Sheppard suddenly finds himself thrust into a major role for a team with championship ambitions. He averaged just 4.4 points, 1.5 rebounds, and 1.4 assists in 12.6 minutes as a rookie, but that's about to change. With VanVleet sidelined, this is Sheppard's opportunity to show he belongs, to become Houston's spark plug off the bench, or even a reliable secondary playmaker next to Ime. The Rockets already have the defense. Now, with Kevin Durant leading their offense and a new generation of stars rising fast, the question isn't if Houston will contend. It's how soon they'll be lifting the trophy. It's a small sample size, but what stood out most about Reed Sheppard was how drastically better he looked when actually given minutes. Every time the rookie guard logged at least 25 minutes last season, he delivered. In those extended runs, he scored 14 or more points in each game, including a 25-point explosion against Oklahoma City and a 20-point night versus the Clippers. With Fred VanVleet now out for the season, Sheppard's long-awaited opportunity has arrived. Real minutes, real responsibility, and a genuine chance to show why the Rockets drafted him so high. Of course, it's unrealistic to expect instant stardom from a player who barely cracked the rotation last year. But if his preseason performance is any indication, Houston has every reason to be optimistic. Throughout the preseason, head coach Ime Udoka experimented with lineups featuring Sheppard as the lead ball handler. And in the final preseason game, with most of the starters resting, the young guard absolutely dominated. In just 29 minutes, Sheppard dropped 29 points, grabbed 6 rebounds, recorded 6 steals, dished 4 assists, and even added 3 blocks in a 133-115 blowout over Atlanta. Beyond the stats, it was his composure that turned heads. Sheppard looked like a seasoned veteran, stripping careless drivers, jumping passing lanes, and anticipating plays before they unfolded. On offense, his decisiveness stood out. The second his feet were set, the shot was gone. He played with confidence, used his handle to create separation, and delivered sharp passes that made his teammates look better. The highlight came when he outplayed All-Star Trae Young on both ends of the floor, a glimpse of what could be coming. If that performance was any indication, Reed Sheppard might be ready to make a name for himself this season. His development will absolutely impact Houston's title hopes, but it's not a make-or-break situation. The Rockets have built a system that doesn't rely solely on their backcourt to create offense. As we saw in the early preseason matchups, a lot of playmaking will flow through Kevin Durant and, especially, Alperen Şengün. That means Shepherd won't face overwhelming pressure right away. He just needs to be steady, make the right reads, and knock down open shots. That said, there will be moments when Shepherd must step up. If he struggles through the first half of the season, Houston has options. The front office could explore adding a veteran point guard before the trade deadline to stabilize the rotation. But the Rockets don't need Shepherd to be a star, just reliable. With Durant, Şengün, and a stacked young core carrying most of the offensive load, even consistency from Shepherd might be all Houston needs to stay firmly in the championship conversation. With Durant in town, it was clear from day one that the Rockets would have to adjust their offensive identity. The system that powered their rise last year, heavy ball movement, dribble handoffs, and motion around the high post, needed an upgrade to fit Durant's gravity and shot volume. Last season, scouting reports on Houston were simple. Pack the paint, force them to shoot, chase their wings off the line, and sit on the predictable handoff at the top of the key. That strategy is now obsolete. Durant breaks every defensive system. Leave him open in the mid-range, he's hitting 55%. Give him space from deep, he's splashing 43%. Try to contest? You're already too late. He's 7 feet tall with a release point no one can touch. His presence alone warps defenses. Suddenly, the dunker spot that was often closed off for Ime Thompson last season is now wide open because opponents are forced to send extra help toward Durant. Meanwhile, Alperen Şengün has more space to operate than ever, and that's dangerous. His ability to pass from the post or the top of the key becomes a nightmare for opposing defenses that overcommit to Durant. Last season, Şengün averaged 5.6 assists per 36 minutes. In Durant's Rockets debut, he racked up 13 assists in just 28 minutes. A clear preview of what this duo can do. Durant's gravity opens a floor for Şengün, while Şengün's playmaking makes Durant's life easier. Together, they've already shown flashes of being one of the most lethal inside-out combinations in the league. Add Ime Thompson's elite defense and transition speed to that mix, and Houston suddenly looks like a nightmare matchup for anyone. However, Udoka will still have to walk a fine line between maximizing Houston's size advantage and maintaining offensive fluidity. The double big lineup featuring Şengün and Steven Adams, which dominated the glass against Golden State, brings toughness and rebounding, but also raises questions that a long-term strategy or just a playoff wrinkle. How does Clint Capella fit into the rotation? And what happens to spacing when Durant shares the floor with two traditional bigs? Can Ime still thrive in those lineups without the floor shrinking? These are the challenges Udoka will have to navigate. But that's the beauty of this roster. It's built to adapt. Houston can play big, small, or fast and still remain dangerous. Each lineup tells a different story. A defensive juggernaut with Eason and Thompson wreaking havoc, a sharpshooting group with Durant and Shepherd stretching the floor, or a bully ball unit built to dominate the paint. No matter the combination, the Rockets have depth, versatility, and the kind of athleticism that makes scouting them a nightmare. Last season, Houston's biggest flaw was inexperience. They were young, exciting, and full of potential, but still learning how to win under playoff pressure. Now, with Kevin Durant locked in on a 2-year extension and the young core entering its prime, that inexperience is quickly fading. These players have tasted both success and disappointment. They've battled through adversity, learned Udoka's demanding system, and are now ready to take the next step. You can't prepare for a team this young, this long, this athletic, and now this skilled. With Durant scoring, Şengün's playmaking, and a relentless defensive engine led by Ime Thompson and Tari Eason, the Rockets finally look like a complete team. This is the version of the Rockets the league never wanted to see, a team that defends, runs, and now has a certified killer in Kevin Durant to close games. But it's the version we're getting. And if the early signs are anything to go by, it's about to get scary in Houston. Let me know how far you think the Rockets can go this season. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe. If you enjoyed this breakdown, check out one of the videos on your screen, because Houston's rise is just getting started.